All right, so this came out of nowhere today. I was sitting down planning to make a video talking about the Rising Stars information that was leaked, or not leaked, but the teams that were released today. And as I click on Sham's page, I see this tweet that just popped up a few minutes ago. And I was like, 4 minutes ago as I record this video, actually. And whoa, the Kings are apparently open to trading De'Aaron Fox. I thought, in all honesty, that with the I guess resurgence of this team recently under Doug Christie, that the De'Aaron Fox trade rumors kind of were going to die down and go away, and they kind of had. Now, I had floated, and many other people had talked about the idea of the Kings moving De'Aaron Fox when they were really struggling earlier this season, but they fired Mike Brown, started to play a lot better, won 10 of their next 12 games, and things have looked, in all honesty, like they're on a much better track for the Kings as of late. Now, they still don't look like a serious championship contender, but they look like a legitimate playoff team and a competitive basketball team, no doubt about it. And this is quite the turn of events. Now, this obviously does not say that they are going to trade De'Aaron Fox, but generally, when Shams tweets about a player being eligible or available for trade, that kind of means that they're like seriously available for trade. This doesn't sound like the Kings are going to, we'll take calls, we're probably not going to deal them. I mean, we'll just hear out interest. This sounds like the Kings are open to trading De'Aaron Fox, and they're going to be asking all suitors and looking for the best deal. Now, no guarantee gets dealt, but this tweet right here, I feel like raises the likelihood that De'Aaron Fox gets traded significantly. So let's talk first and foremost about the Kings a little bit. So they are the 10 seed in the West right now, have won, again, 11 out of their last, I think, 15 games since firing Mike Brown, 2 games over 500. They're okay. They're not great though. Even recently, they've played really well, but I feel like they've been outproducing the actual expectations for this team. Like, they're behind a Mavs team that's been super hurt still and isn't playing great. The Suns have looked much better as of late. They've won 8 of their last 10 and are playing far better since dealing for Nick Richardson, making a couple of moves, sending Bradley Beal to the bench, stuff like that, taking Nurkic out of the lineup. The Timberwolves look pretty good despite Dante DiVincenzo being out for a chunk of time still. The Clippers got Kawhi back and are playing good basketball. The Lakers look super solid, have won 4 in a row. Like, all these teams around the Kings look like they're probably better than the Kings. Now, the Kings look better than the Warriors and the Spurs. So right now, I think this team is, I feel like, pretty safely in that 10 seed. I just don't think they're better than the 9 teams above them, and I don't think they're worse than the 2 teams below them. But I guess this is basically the Kings saying they're not going to accept mediocrity. And you know what? I can't blame them, because I am a proponent of, and I've talked about this before in reference of to teams like the Chicago Bulls, where the worst place to be as a basketball team is in what I call basketball purgatory, which is in the middle, just like the Catholic Church, purgatory. I mean, you don't want to be in the middle. You're too bad to really contend for anything, but you're too good to have the real opportunity to rebuild. Now, the problem with this concept is that I think the Kings' issue is they're too good to really effectively rebuild this year. So what is the plan if you deal De'Aaron Fox? Now, here is the thought process with trading De'Aaron Fox. There are teams that would give up 3, 4, 5 first-round picks for De'Aaron Fox. Teams like maybe the Houston Rockets, for example, that could absolutely use a player like De'Aaron Fox, who might consider giving up young talent. Now, I think a Rockets deal for De'Aaron Fox would look something along the lines of Fred VanVleet plus Cam Whitmore plus maybe 2 or 3 picks at least to make a deal work. But I think there are a variety of teams out there that would be really interested in adding De'Aaron Fox to their team and think he makes them a serious championship favorite. Teams like the Rockets, teams like the Orlando Magic, teams like, I'm trying to look and see, the Knicks, the Bucks, they have their point guards. The Celtics probably not. The Cavs have their guards. Like, you do kind of wonder what type of real assets the Kings are going to get besides draft picks from most of these teams. Like, if I were them, I'd be trying to get Jalen Green from the Rockets, but that trade doesn't make a ton of sense in terms of positional fit, because who's going to play the shooting guard for the Rockets if they do that, unless there's a shooting guard added on top of De'Aaron Fox. It's finding the proper fit might be a challenge for what the Kings want, because what the Kings probably want is a guy who they think they can develop into a young star, as well as assets. They're probably not looking to just trade De'Aaron Fox for contract filler to make a deal work and other stuff like draft picks basically exclusively. I just don't think that would be the goal for the Kings, I guess. And if that's the case, then that makes it really challenging to find a proper deal for the Kings. I think it'll be interesting to see if they actually wind up dealing it, but that's going to be my hesitation. Now, if I was a team like the Magic, a team like the Rockets, a young team with some talent like that, I would absolutely be on the phone with the Rockets trying to, or with the Kings trying to make a deal. That is 100% true. Even a team like the Timberwolves. Now, do the Timberwolves have the assets to make that deal work? Probably not. Would it be an absolutely fascinating deal to pair De'Aaron Fox with Anthony Edwards, I should say? Absolutely. I just don't know if a package that centers around somebody like Julius Randle and a bunch of assets is going to be enough for the Kings to be particularly interested. So again, it's all about fit. It's all about value. You wonder, like, maybe the Kings like Rob Dillingham, and there could be a Rob Dillingham and Julius Randle and a couple of picks package. That would be interesting. It's just thoughts that are popping into my head of teams that might be interested in him. But I just wonder what the fit's going to be. But either way, regardless of what the fit is, whatever team ends up with De'Aaron Fox, if he does get traded, is getting a superstar caliber point guard. Now, his shooting has been down this year after the best shooting season of his career last year was 37% on almost 8 attempts a game. This year he's only about 32.5%, but he's 53.5% inside the arc. He's a very good finisher. He's one of the best clutch players in all of basketball. If you'll hear background noise at all, Archer's been making noise, my dog, a little bit while I record this video, so I apologize for that. But he's an elite level clutch player. His assist turnover ratio is better than 2-to-1. He's a real playmaker. He's a high level, high volume scorer. And he's, I think, a little bit better shooter than the numbers indicate this season. I feel like he could potentially be a bit closer to that 34-35% mark. And I just think as a whole, you're looking at a guy who's a top tier point guard and a franchise star caliber player, 27 years old. So right in the prime of his career, and you got another 3, 4, 5 seasons at least of him playing at that highest level, maybe even longer than that, with the longevity of a lot of stars in this league. And again, he's one of the best clutch players in the entire sport and has been for a couple of years now. So if De'Aaron Fox gets dealt, it is going to be a pretty earth-shattering move. Like, that's the type of move that changes organizations and changes championship favorites and has serious playoff implications for whatever team gets him and whatever team has to compete against the teams that get him. So I am fascinated to follow this story, if nothing else. And again, today is January 28th as I record this video. We're only about a week, 9 days away from the trade deadline. We're getting there, and we're getting there quickly. So things are going to start moving in the trade market, and I can promise y'all I'm going to have a ton of trade content coming to y'all over the next week. Every major trade that happens, I'm pretty much going to be making a video to break it down. Some of those more minor trades we might conglomerate into a video, but every major trade, I will have a specific dedicated video towards that trade, and De'Aaron Fox would absolutely count as a major trade. In fact, I think this would be the biggest move of the deadline if he did get dealt. So hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.